Welcome to the Basket Buds edition of the Athletic NBA Show podcast here on the Athletic Podcast Network. I'm your host, Zach Harper. We got Josh Eustace. We've got Jay King. Happy Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, his birthday. Happy birthday to the good doctor. We have a great day of hoops ahead of us, or if you're listening to this later, we had a great day of hoops behind us, or if you're listening to this during, we had a great day of hoops happening. We have to remind you, subscribe to The Athletic, best coverage of sports on the internet. Subscribe to our YouTube page, the Athletic NBA Show podcast YouTube page. Subscribe to The Bounce. It is a free newsletter in your email inbox every single morning, including this morning. And guys, before we're basically at the halfway point of the season, right? It's essentially where we are. Most teams have around 40, 41 games. But before we get into awards and all kinds of fun stuff, we had a trade that we're going to analyze a little bit. Before we get into all that, and of course we have Boogate, right? We got to touch on Boogate. But before we get to all that, here's something I didn't like from last episode, right? We had the hot take safe zone. I said what I said about the Milwaukee Bucks and Damian Lillard. And this listener started tweeting me and talking trash about it and tag Damian Lillard in it, like this is a Bucks fan, right? And here's what I don't like. Okay, I got the Athletic NBA in here in the Athletic NBA Show podcast. I'll play the clip for you. It talks about the hot take safe zone and what the rules are. Okay, and so
it was Jay's burner. That's who it was.
It's Jay's burner, but this is what we've got. Okay, we've got the Athletic NBA Show podcast hot take safe zone. It means the hot takes are in a safe zone. You don't get to do that later on. And if you weren't watching on YouTube, you missed me holding up a laptop just like Mike Brown did last night in an all-time press conference.
What a segue.
All-time press conference moment. He gets ejected. And great, like De'Aaron Fox got grabbed, right? By campaign. He got, that's your guy, but he grabbed his arm, no call. Mike Brown storms the court, runs into Pat Connaughton, and gets thrown out immediately, as he should. Like, I think he was trying to get thrown out at that point.
Malik Monk did God's work.
Malik Monk was corralling, man. Like, that was he was at like a ranch hand, like just absolutely corralling Mike Brown.
The best part was he just pointed him to the locker room. Like,
he knew it was over. The moment he stepped on the court, he's like, all right.
He knew what was going on.
Head in.
But whatever. People get ejected all the time. In the post-game press conference, he brings a laptop with two clips. He was cutting video. He cut two clips, one of a foul that the Bucks got, one of a foul that De'Aaron Fox didn't get on that play. Wants to know the rules, wants to know why Brook Lopez is able to have one, forearm down and one hand up for verticality when Domantas Sabonis gets called for it. Like, just all this stuff. It was beautiful. It's one of my favorite press conference moments of all time. It really
I'm gonna go the other way. I love the innovation, but if you're gonna bring the clips, if you're gonna break down exactly what happened, you have to come with more impactful fouls. You cannot just have a random.
Look, he got ejected with 9.5 minutes left in the fourth,
and then
it
a
wasn't
play where
much
De'Aaron
time.
Fox kind of got his arm hooked. You cannot have just
he
two.
He got fouled.
He definitely got fouled. But you cannot have two calls that are not entirely impactful. You can't. You have to come with something more important.
Jay, it's about
a 5-point swing in a game that comes down to a shot from Dave. Well, yeah. But I mean, obviously, made free throws would help.
Yeah,
but
you don't lose if you make your free throws.
Fair. That's fair. But would it have been a little bit more separation without a 5-point swing because of bad calls?
Sure. Yeah, it absolutely.
But I get what you're saying, Jay.
I also love the idea of Mike Brown after having gotten ejected, looking at the video coordinator or whoever and being like, it's time to put together some clips, guys. It's time to prepare for this post-game press conference. We got an hour. Let's find these clips. And that's all he found. Yeah. That's the part I need more. It's innovative, though. Other coaches will do it. He started a new genre. I love that about it. But
better or worse than Patrick Beverley showing the camera to the referee?
Oh, Pat Bev was the best. That was
the best because that was so wildly absurd.
And it was heat of the moment. Mike Brown had an hour to think about his. Right. So he was calmed down by the time he did it.
He clearly was not calmed down.
He was not calmed down.
He was not laptop to a press conference and played flips.
The amount of stutter, like just anger stuttering.
You know, that's the thing. You know Mike Brown is pissed when he's stuttering.
Like,
you know he's pissed.
There were
better or worse than LeBron pointing at the replay against Minnesota recently. Where he's pointing at his foot on the line. Better, right?
I think it's better. Yeah,
I think I agree. I think it's Pat Bev.
Pat Bev is an all-time moment.
Yeah,
Pat you go take a photographer who has nothing to do with it. Some guy on an independent contractor salary just gets lassoed into this argument.
And you know what sucks about that? You know what sucks about that? It removes the photographer from getting that moment when Pat Bev now
for sure
shows it. You know, everyone else gets a shot. TV gets a shot, but this guy doesn't get the shot. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, Pat Bev owes that photographer some money. All-time moment. Thank you, Mike Brown. That is very memeable. There are so many screenshots. so many screenshots. Oh my god, just fantastic. Like, I didn't think I could be any more giggly yesterday than watching the Cowboys completely shit the bed in the playoffs like they always do. No, that did it, man. That made my day even better. Congratulations, Cowboy Nation.
Just special. Just truly innovative too. It's
truly innovative.
That is going to spark genius rants from now on.
We need to get a projector screen in media rooms.
Yes.
It needs to start doing media availability.
I need a coach to go at his own players like that though. Like when coaches get fed up with their players, instead of just being like, we were soft, we weren't tough enough tonight. I need them to come out with clips.
With like Tyler Hero defense.
Watch
clips.
This Zach LaVine possession. It's embarrassing.
Well,
it's
Billy Donovan. I can see doing that. Yeah, I think Billy would do that to Zach. Yeah, I think that's possible. All right, before we get to a trade, just your thoughts on Boogate. The memory of Jerry Krause at the Ring of Honor, the Chicago Bulls, gets booed in the arena. Then they flash. I believe his wife's name, his widow's name is Thelma.
Was it Thelma?
Thelma Krause. And my favorite part of this is, look, I think it's absolute trash behavior by Bulls fans. Like, there are many reasons why I think this is so wrong. One, I think you only watched The Last Dance and don't actually know. Like, you weren't living that, right? I think you watched The Last Dance, you're like, I hate this guy. I'm not saying you even have to like Jerry Krause. Two, you're upset because your team only won 6 titles instead of maybe a 7th, which is unprecedented except for that one time where the Celtics were dominating a league that had 8 other teams. Like, you're whining that you only got to watch 6 titles. That's insane.
Yeah.
3, it happened 25 years ago.
Yeah.
4, he's been dead since 2017, I believe.
Guy's been dead for 7 years.
Yeah, dead for 7 years. And then 5, whether she's there or not, doesn't really matter to me. It made it worse, but you're booing a dead person.
It was so sad, man.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That is
just they hate him because Michael Jordan told them to hate him.
Yeah. I mean, I watched The Last Dance
too. That's Michael Jordan's fault.
And it was great.
Yeah.
Propaganda.
Well, I mean, you read the articles that came out after The Last Dance where it was like Mike only agreed to do this if he could control the narrative. And if he got final say on what got left on the cutting room floor versus what made it into the documentary.
Which is how you get Mike.
Right?
Which is
Isaiah Thomas, villain. Scottie Pippen, all these people, villain. So who comes out on top as the hero and the savior and can do no wrong?
That one locker room attendant though was not a villain, or whoever he was when he was.
That dude was great
with the perm.
He was not a villain.
Yeah, he was not. Great. He came out looking good too, but literally nobody else came out in any sort of positive light, right? Like,
which honestly is fine. Like, it was a Michael Jordan commercial for 10 hours. I loved it
for sure.
Don't get it.
But if you ask around and you know people,
especially at the time it came out in the heat of the pandemic when nothing else was going on.
Yeah,
that saved me.
That and Tiger King.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh man, I missed that.
But it's no
but
secret to people that are around the NBA. Like Michael Jordan is not a good dude.
Right.
And listen, like
Which
I love
also,
Mike. Everybody
I
loves
love it.
Mike, but
Yeah.
he's not a good human being.
Right.
Like objectively when you talk to people.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So,
but like I just
yeah.
I just look at the whole situation. I'm like, so you're crying that you only got 6 titles, and we celebrate ego in sports. Again, I don't even care if you like Jerry Krause or not. Like it's irrelevant. We celebrate ego in sports. We do, right? Like Mamba mentality. Michael Jordan was like the ego to do all this, right? All this stuff. We celebrate it because it makes sports more fun. This guy had the ego to think, well, I built a team that won 6 titles. I could do it again, right? It's why I don't fault Kyrie when he wanted to leave LeBron and the Cavs to go try his own thing, and it ended up in Boston. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty good. I think I can do this. And then he went and tried. It was like, oh, it sucks. I want another star. I don't mind people trying this out. I'm just like, you're booing a dead man. You're booing a dead man who, like, yeah, was maybe a prick, but like built the thing that you love. I don't know. That's trash behavior to me.
Do you think the Bulls thought it was a great idea?
That's an interesting question.
That everyone would just cheer Krause, and that his widow would just be sitting there like, oh, this is such a heartwarming moment.
Do you think that they should have said that she was there first?
That's what they should have done. They should.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
And if they showed her, the reason is different. And I'm not
because
nobody should have done that no matter what. Like you said, booing a dead man. No. And a dead man who won you 6 championships.
Yeah,
but
he did everything for that team except draft Michael Jordan. He got all the other pieces in there,
and they were all amazing pieces.
Yeah,
and they fit perfectly.
Yeah.
But I feel like they had to have foresight there and realize this could go badly. Let's show her first, make sure everyone knows she's in the building, and make sure the reception isn't what it was. But I guess you can't predict exactly the way it turned out, where they panned it to her like as the boos are reaching peak. That was just rough, it looked awful. Oh my god, I was so sad. That it takes a lot.
And Jay doesn't have a soul. Yeah, Jay doesn't have a soul.
It takes a lot to get me sad. That had me sad.
All right, let's move on to. Oh my god, guys, what a trade we have! The Pistons and the Wizards. Swapped.
Huge trade.
Marvin Bagley III, whatever Isaiah Livers is, 2 second-round picks for Danilo Gallinari, Celtics legend, and Mike Muscala. This is so. First, let's
Celtics legends.
Oh yeah, they're both Celtics
Nuggets legend.
Danilo Gallinari.
Danilo, yeah.
I think people mostly remember him for his time with the Celtics.
Yeah.
Almost a Heat legend. The Heat almost acquired him at the trade deadline.
13 minutes and 50 seconds before the first Miami Heat reference.
I'm surprised it took that long.
We got some
the Heat never would have treated Jerry Krause like that.
They wouldn't have.
They're putting a statue out for Dwayne Wade.
They are. These are all facts. What do we think of Bagley on the Wizards, of them trying to develop him? He'll be 25 sometime this year. He's actually scoring and rebounding really well. He's just not playing a ton of minutes because you can't really play him a lot of minutes. Like he hasn't been that player. I don't think he's as bad as people make him out to be, but he's number 2 pick that got picked in front of Luka and Trey and Jaren Jackson Jr. and all these guys. So Josh, do you think that Bagley can be a starting level big man on a good team?
Maybe it's hard for me. It's hard for me to think either way about it because I just think the Wizards have so much work to do.
Yeah.
It could go either direction. I think there's just so much work to be done, right? He's not going to come in and they're not going to be good still. Right? They're still not going to be good with this trade. Like there's so much work that needs to be done. As far as him fitting what a modern 5 is, sure. I think he's got what it takes to be a modern 5. The numbers look good in his minutes per game, but I just think there's too much work to be done to call it either way right now. Yeah. I don't even know if he's going to stay in Washington
Right.
I don't
Jay,
know.
you squealed
have a
there
hard
when
time
Josh
deciding.
said Marvin.
No. The answer is no. Marvin Bagley is not a starting level player.
Okay,
Marvin Bagley
can
will
he
not
be
a
a
starting level player.
rotation big?
Marvin Bagley
who gets
is one of the worst draft picks of all time, considering right behind him went Luka, Jaren Jackson, Trae Young.
But here's the problem, Jay. The tone in your voice just now put that on Bagley instead of on the Kings.
Oh no, I'm not putting that on Marvin Bagley. That is fully on the Kings. But and the Pistons, like, they went out and spent draft capital to get Marvin Bagley.
Sure.
Go get him. And now they're trading 2 second-round picks to dump him?
Well, yeah, because they're trying to create cap space and flexibility.
Cap space, what is it, 68 mil
it
next year?
Shows,
like that,
it just shows the misevaluation in the first place, that they thought they could basically salvage him. They thought they could salvage James Wiseman. Neither of them turned into good players. Now they're dumping draft picks. While they're 3-36, they are dumping draft picks. Does that not seem insane to people? That shouldn't they be going out and getting draft picks?
I'm of the opinion that draft picks are overrated.
It screams to me that we want to be good next year, is what I hear, rather than we're thinking
good this year.
We want to be good in
which is crazy.
2034.
It's great.
Like,
that's
which
the
is
thing.
crazy.
People keep talking about
it's not
taking, like, yo,
salvageable.
they tried to make the play-in tournament this year.
No, they could continue to play their asses off and still win 5 games maybe this year.
Look, and they've got a ton of cap space now. They'll have flexibility to absorb contracts. They'll have flexibility to do other things. And so in that way, this sets them up for the future. But it just goes back to mistakes they've made in the past. And there are so many mistakes. And now they just keep Band-Aided over them. Just there's Band-Aid on top of Band-Aid on top of Band-Aid on top of Band-Aid. And it's like, that needs an amputation, actually.
Well, it's everybody. It's a bunch of people in the front office trying to save their jobs by going, if we can sign players that can help us win in 2024, 2025, maybe we still got a chance to stick around.
Right.
Because they're not thinking long term. Because none of those people will be around long term.
Right. There's no sense in
why would Troy Weaver, Amani Williams plan for 5 years from now, where if they don't win next year, they're going to be gone anyways?
Yeah. If they go from the worst team ever, which is what they are currently, to
9th or
30
10th
wins, 35 wins, play for the
monumental turnaround.
I mean, my God, yeah.
Coach of the year.
Is there is there a tiny chance? Is there a chance that adding the shooting of Gallinari and Mike Muscala actually helps Cade Cunningham, helps Jaden Ivey? I know those guys are not like elite players, but they needed shooting so badly on that roster that maybe in some way adding those guys helps a little bit. It's not about that. I don't think this is about the cap space and the flexibility moving forward. But I don't know. This is.
I mean, those guys.
This is one of the saddest trades. One of the saddest trades.
1.5 threes a game each, maybe.
I mean,
it's not. I don't.
They're
not floor spacers like that.
Like, you have 2 smart players, 2 veterans
for sure
in the mix now. Like, that understanding can help, but I mean, they're also probably going to trade more guys, right?
Yeah.
I think if the Pistons can get to 10 wins this season, we should give Monty Williams Coach of the Year. Because them winning 7 more times seems impossible.
You know why it seems impossible?
Here we go.
Keeps playing Killian Hayes.
I knew it was coming.
Well, he's not going to play. He's not going to play.
Starting Isaiah Livers, and he just came out the other day and said, I never thought about playing Jaden Ivey at point guard before. We had an organizational meeting, and they told me to play Jaden Ivey. What do you mean, organizational meeting? You needed an organizational meeting to figure out that the most athletic guy, one of the most athletic guys in the league, a lottery pick recently, maybe you should put the ball in his hands and just see what happens. And not even that, like, I understand not wanting to throw Jaden Ivey into the deep end. It's okay not to want to throw him into the deep end. It's okay to want him to play off ball and be able to get downhill in the second side, whatever. You have reasons for that. I get it. Jaden Ivey is a raw player. He has a lot to work on. You're 3 and forever. 3 and
now
forever.
it's time to experiment.
And you have to just put the ball in his hands. It's just so short-sighted to keep running out the same nonsense and not trying to see what Jaden Ivey can give you and letting him develop in real time. What are you trying to salvage? One win every 15 games?
To be fair, Monty might be trying to get fired so he can just collect his checks, which I would respect the hell out of. Collecting $70 million.
At least he showed accountability. He was like, you know what? That one's on me.
That one's on me. The last 3 months, never considered it.
Didn't think once that this guy who's clearly projects to be a point guard long term never thought about it once.
Never thought about it once.
Sorry,
all right. Let's go to our half-season awards. I think I'm going to go in reverse order here. So, Jay, who is the best duo in the NBA this season?
Oh, we're going backwards.
Yeah.
So it's this season we're going with.
Yeah, we're doing the awards for this season at the halfway point of this season.
So
wait, when halfway? Hold on, next season?
So I was thinking just best duo overall. So my answer was going to be Jokic and Jamal Murray because I was thinking best duo overall. But if we're doing mid-season awards,
what did you think half-season awards meant in the rundown?
That's good question. But I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna switch it up. And this is gonna sound crazy.
No, I need to. I know. I gotta know why. This doesn't make any sense that you didn't understand.
This is gonna sound crazy. This is gonna sound crazy. Shea and Chet. Shea and Chet have been the best duo.
It doesn't sound crazy because it's 100% what I expected you to say.
Shea and Chet. Shea might be the MVP right now. Chet has been exactly what they needed on both ends of the court. Like if we're going for who I expect to do the most in the playoffs, it's not them.
Who has been that best duo so far this season?
Okay.
You're not being clear here, Zach.
Josh, who's your best duo for 6 years from now?
Oh man.
No, who's your half season award?
There's a kid at a middle school in Arkansas. I think it's got
it's Austin Reeves' little brother.
I don't think it's made clear. No, it was made clear.
What? Yeah, it is 100%. I'm looking at it.
Half season awards.
Half season awards.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of awards. Who's your half season best?
Like Monty Williams. I never considered that could be a half season award. I'm sorry.
I still go Jokic and Murray. I mean, when they're together, like I don't know who's better when they're both on the floor. Chet and Shea is probably my number 2. I mean, that like I get it in terms of if you're like isolating just this first half of the season, but I still think Jokic and Murray, when they play together, the Nuggets are the best team every night. Like they still feel like they're not playing full. Like to their full capabilities. Yeah. No, exactly. Exactly. It's just like Jokic. I mean, what? He goes on this absolute tear where he's shooting 80-something% from the field, but he's taking 10, 12 shots. Like he's not. Yeah, exactly. Because they know when it's time to turn it on. They know when they're going to need him and Murray to show up and be who they are. Yeah, I'm sticking with those two still halfway through.
I think I'm gonna go Kawhi and Paul George. I was going back and forth between Jokic, Murray is. Yeah, I'm with you. Like
that's a safe answer.
Yeah, I don't think and it's not even about it. Like I can see them pacing themselves. I'm like, all right, I don't know about that. You know, that kind of knocked out for me. I actually almost went Shea and Jalen Williams, the good one, because I think their ability to play off each other, drive the ball constantly, is more impactful than what Shea and Chet have done together. But I mean, then we could just get into like, all right, best trios or whatever. You know, like they've been phenomenal. Yeah.
Super interesting that one team has two options for best duo.
Yeah, because I do think that like Jalen Williams just drives the ball and makes great decisions all the time. Like I love him. Like he's becoming one of my favorite players. But Kawhi and Paul George, once they got through the murkiness of figuring this out, like they are playing. I mean, I think this is the best we've seen them play as a duo. And sure, like they have Harden and there are other components that get into the mix, but I just think like what they're doing right now, the run they're on, from an individual standpoint as a duo, I think like both ends of the floor. I don't know if two players are playing better than those two guys together.
This was a really tough category.
Yeah, I mean, because
I had a lot of problems here. We could have gone with Embiid and Maxey. We could have gone with
Dame and
Jason
Giannis.
Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Or
I thought about Tatum and Porzingis.
Tatum
and Porzingis. Yep.
Yeah.
Like there were a lot of options here. Giannis and Dame. We didn't even bring them up. Like
Duncan Robinson, Jaime Jaquez. Like also.
Exactly.
I like that one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was really tough. I
don't think
a
lot of good ones.
Anyone that's head and shoulders above the rest.
Well, what's important is I'm sure nobody listening will take offense to it and be mad at our selections.
People seem to be pretty understanding and calm and level-headed about these types of things.
The Thunder fans will be happy, though. Thunder fans will be jacked up.
No, I think the Thunder fans are going to be very happy with some of these half-season awards we're giving out.
I'll tell you this. Let me say this about these Thunder fans. You guys are getting real bitchy, okay? And it comes with success.
That means you reflect.
It comes with success.
Has entered the chat,
but you're getting real bitchy about why didn't you say this? And you're forgetting. We're not. Like, we know the Thunder are good. They've been awesome. They're going to win awards. Like, but just, it's okay to give love to other. It's been a while since what, 2016 that the team mattered.
I just want all the Thunder fans to know I'm not on Zach's side with this. So please direct all hate
at Talk Hoops.
At Talk Hoops.
I said nice things about your team, and here's the thing: it wasn't enough. That's where
just a clip
next week too.
Because,
and I got a laptop to read the comments next week. Got that. All right, next award.
This guy, he sent me a slur. This guy,
his name's Josh Eustace. Team that needs to blow it up. I will start. Please, I don't want to watch the Atlanta Hawks anymore. I'm so sick of this team. Blow it up. Everybody. I don't care. Trade, don't trade. I don't care. But everyone's got to go. Everyone. I get so angry because I think that I still think this team should be good. And maybe that's me just being dumb here.
Yeah, it is.
But they should be good. No, there's so much talent on that team. Like 1 through 8, there's a shitload of talent. Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter, Jalen Johnson, Clint Capella, Onyeka Okongwu, Bogdan Bogdanovic. Forgetting somebody here, but like that's a lot of talent. You shouldn't be 8-9 games under 500.
It's bad.
Way too much talent to be this bad. I can't be disappointed by this team anymore. This is a selfish pick. Blow up the Hawks.
Selfish pick and selfish team. Selfish team.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess the pick is in line with how the team plays. Josh, who needs to blow it up?
Dude, I have a list. Because I don't feel like you could. I don't think you could narrow it. How do you narrow it down to one? There's so many.
Limited to one this season.
Bulls, Warriors, Nets, Pistons, Wizards, Hawks, Spurs. Like
Spurs.
What can the Spurs blow up?
That's what I'm saying. They need, if you're going to develop a generational talent, like, okay, I'm not saying trade Wembanyama. I'm saying put pieces around. If you got
trade
a generational talent, can you imagine?
I heard trade Wembanyama.
Guys, we just need to cut out that knot. And it says I'm saying trade Wembanyama. That's all we got to do. Just a little careful.
You got a generational talent that you want to win around. Something's got to change. I mean, all I see are clips of his teammates deliberately not passing him the ball.
No, he doesn't believe that. Yeah, he doesn't believe that.
I don't believe it. I think they're just bad. They don't see him wide open.
I think they just don't. They don't see it. They don't see the 7'5"
under the basket with his hand. He stands and his hand is above the rim, and they don't see that. Come on, come on.
You think Jeremy Sohan sees him? You think when Jeremy Sohan is driving to the hoop, he's like, let me see where Victor is. No, Jeremy
But
Sohan's
telling me,
I don't know what I'm doing.
That nobody in that locker room was
block.
going like, they're not watching film and going, hey, we missed that.
What
Like,
color is my hair today?
maybe we should look for the tallest guy in the NBA when he's on the court.
It's I think I figure out what Jeremy Sohan sees out there. I think everywhere he looks on a basketball court, all he sees is like the contract he could get, the Devin Vassell contract.
So
that he could get.
I think you're onto something. I think
but he doesn't know how to get
not long term. This is not a long term team, right? Like they are out working
like
for
Devin,
trying to
Keldon,
get their money for the next team.
I think Devin and Keldon are safe.
Yeah, for sure.
Trey Jones they're good when Trey Jones is on the court with those guys.
Collins.
Collins.
Sohan.
No, not Sohan.
No, I'm saying like that's what I think he's trying to earn. He's thinking about that next contract.
He saw that contract and was like, they should have never let him get text alerts.
And they put him a point.
I have him going to Pop after that contract to Devin. It was like, hey Pop, I need the ball. I gotta get a contract like that. And Pop's like, whatever, run point. I don't care. Like, just
don't care. Go for it.
He's like, just throw the ball to Wemby. But Sohan was already out the door when he said, just throw the ball to Wemby.
That's an underrated press conference moment right there, where they talked about the Spurs defense, and Pop's like, I could tell you it was, but that would be bullshit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, Pop's got
he's checked out
at this point. Yeah, this is last week of school for Pop. Yeah,
he does not care.
Jay, who needs to blow it up?
The Warriors. The Warriors do. Steph is still good enough to contend for a title. The roster around him is not close. And I don't know what they need to do. Do they need to trade Kuminga? Do they need to keep Kuminga? Do they need to trade Wiggins? Can they trade Wiggins? Is Wiggins just a total albatross at this point? He's been so bad. I don't know what they need to do. I don't know if they can get good enough. I don't know, but they need new energy. They cannot keep going like they are. And part of that will just be Draymond Green coming back, and his presence will change things, but they just need new energy there somehow. It cannot keep going the way it is. It's going to break Steve Kerr. It might have already broken Steve Kerr.
So then, for your answer for which player needs to be traded the most, is that a Warrior or is it somebody else?
No. Pascal Siakam. I need Siakam gone because Siakam can actually change a team's fortunes. He's good enough to, if you throw him on the Warriors, let's say, that I'd be interested. I don't know if it throws him over the top. Probably doesn't throw him over the top.
Would you trade for Siakam knowing he could be a rental?
So that's the hard part is you're not sure. But for me, like, what do the Warriors have to preserve at this point? Kuminga's future? Kuminga's future? Is that it?
No, this is all about the end of Steph's career.
Yeah, of course. Right. But like,
how does his legacy get remembered? Just an utter shocking decline.
Can you get him another title? Like that's what and it's what it should be. I mean, it's the mode the Lakers should be in. How do we get LeBron one more title? You know? Like that's what it should be.
I don't think those organizations have adjusted their mindset yet. They're so used to what there hasn't been that shift yet. Like they still are eyeing a title. Yeah. A lot of teams, they talk big at the beginning of the season, like, what's your goals? Well, our goal is to win a title. But come on, like, not every team genuinely believes that they're going to win a title at the beginning of the year. But the Warriors still do that title dream. Same with the Lakers. Like, that's still like it's title or bust.
Yeah.
Anything less than a title is a failure. So I think they have stuff to lose because they are still holding on to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh,
so I don't think they're ready to just throw people away. Zach LaVine.
Yeah. He's come back. He's played okay since he came back.
I mean, I just look at it. They have a winning record without him.
Yeah.
They are 10-8. Yeah. They are 10-8 when he does not play. They are 9-14 when he does.
That's tough.
They have a better offensive rating when he does not play. They have a better defensive rating when he does not play.
So what you're saying is
it's a no-brainer. You are flat out just a better team offensively and defensively when your best player does not play.
Best player.
When your best scorer does not play.
Yeah. My player who needs to be traded, Tyus Jones. Let's give him to a real
love him. He deserves
I love
better.
Tyus Jones. He does.
He deserves so much.
He deserves better. I want him to get paid this summer. I want him to be a starting point guard. I want him on the Magic. Like that, let's get Tyus Jones the hell away from Washington, D.C. We have
Jalen Suggs. We gotta let Jalen Suggs rock out, man.
They can play on the court together. Suggs isn't a point guard. He's just a guy that goes out there and busts his ass. Like
Suggs has no position. He's just a maniac.
Yeah, he's just
I was just thinking about that. I was like, is he a 2? I was like, not a 2.
No, he's just a maniac.
Is he a 3? No, not a 3. The point guard? Just chaos.
All right. Most improved veteran. We're not doing that young player stuff. So it's got to be at least 3 years. Most improved player, which, by the way, as a voter, I don't consider second-year players for most improved. That's just a rule that I have implemented for myself. So I'm into the whole, let's talk about most improved veteran. But most improved veteran, I have my answer. I gave it to you guys before the show. It's Kobe White. Kobe White has gone from that guy's pretty good.
That's kind of like a
yeah. He's putting up 18 a game on great shooting. He's been a great three-point shooter. He's been a great player in terms of he was already starting, but he stepped into more of a role once Zach LaVine went down. And even now that Zach LaVine is back, it looks like they're trying to make sure that Kobe White doesn't lose any of what he was doing for the last month or so. And that's a guy who now is on a super underpaid contract if he continues this play moving forward. I'm so impressed. I thought he was, that guy's like a backup guard. He'll be a spark plug sometime. And now he's someone I'm like, no, you have to start him. He's legitimately good. And not just because he's on the Bulls, you have to start. The way he's playing, he would start on a lot of teams.
I'm going with Colin Sexton. And this might seem like an interesting pick because
the Jazz are good.
Sexton averaged 24 when he was younger, earlier in his career. Those were empty numbers. He's playing the best basketball of his life. His decision-making has grown exponentially. He is driving their success right now.
Yeah.
And just him becoming a point guard, him becoming someone who can generate good offense for his team is so impressive to me because it wasn't always like that. He was very much an inflated numbers, empty numbers guy. And now he's turned the Jazz after getting into that starting lineup into one of the NBA's hottest teams. So Sexton's improvement, just reading the game, seeing the game, that's sometimes to me the most impressive improvement. It's not like guy who gets more opportunity and does more with it. This is a guy who was doing a lot productive wise and had to learn how to actually impact the game more. And he's doing that. And I'm super impressed by his transformation.
Yeah, he's been great lately. Josh, what about you? Most improved?
I went with Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like he was good last year. I don't want to take away from him being good last year, but this year he's leading maybe one of the best offenses of all time in terms of scoring numbers and assist numbers. What was it, 50 assists the other day? Is that what it was? It was 50,
yeah, they had
right?
50 assists against the Hawks.
3 shy of an NBA record.
Yeah.
What? And in 53 assists in a game. That's crazy.
I looked. It was like in the 70s. Unbelievable.
Crazy.
Yeah, they probably had 140 possessions. Yeah.
Which, insane. But and not only that, but in conversation of one of best point guard in the NBA.
He's played like it. Yeah.
In the conversation.
Yeah.
Right in his third year. I mean, are the Pacers a good overall, a good all-around team?
No, but they're
not. But they're fun to watch, and he's just flat out good.
Winning. Yeah,
he scores the ball, he moves the ball. The dude is just next level. But your Kobe White answer is hard for me to argue against, purely because of the jump that he took is more impressive.
Yeah, I have a hard time not agreeing with me as well. If I'm
sure you do.
Like
I'm sure you do.
Well, we went through this with Ja Morant a couple years ago, where, like, I genuinely think we don't make enough about the leap when it comes to this award. Like, I know it's looked at as a lesser award for most improved, and it kind of is, but that's something where, like, to leap from being an all-star player to being in the MVP conversation, that's as impressive a leap as someone going from like, oh yeah, this guy's pretty good, to like, oh, he might be an all-star someday. You know,
exactly.
Like, I do think that, and it's harder because if it wasn't, a lot more players would do it. Right? Like, a lot of players can go from pretty good guy to like, holy shit, this guy's good. Not a lot of players go from, hey, this guy's an all-star to, oh, he's in the MVP conversation. And that should be more impressive and more improved than anything. But yeah, I agree with me. It's Kobe White. Next award, best second-year player. Jay.
Chet Holmgren.
Does that count? Hold on.
Agreed.
Hold on.
That was the answer I was going to go with.
No, hold on. Just a second.
I knew this was going to piss off Josh. I don't know why I knew.
You can't also. Okay, so who'd you put for Rookie of the Year?
Chet Holmgren.
What?
Best duo? Rookie of the Year and second-year player of the year.
Listen for a second. How do you possibly have him as best second-year player?
He's in his second year in the NBA, but he's technically a rookie. So he can't be rookie.
Okay.
Chet Holmgren.
Right, this is
it's the Ben Simmons conversation again.
Okay,
Blake Griffin, you know?
All right.
Chet Holmgren.
We're just gonna change the rules.
Oh,
Josh, who's your best second-year player?
Paolo Banchero.
Ooh.
Paolo.
So he's better than Chet to you?
It's been excellent.
Stop. Chet is not in the conversation because he is. If we're,
he said, right. Stop.
Josh, when did Chet come into the league? 2 years ago.
All right. So you think he should be ineligible for Rookie of the Year?
I didn't say that.
You did by saying he's a second-year player.
He is a second-year player. He's been in the league 2 years.
So he can't be Rookie of the Year.
Definitely
no, he's a rookie.
Josh goes his kid. Stop.
That's a new voice.
House. Stop. Yeah, that's a new voice.
Look
at you. Stop. Moving your range. My best second-year player, as much as I love Paolo and as much as I love Chet, it's Jalen Williams. That dude's a monster, man. He's so good. He should probably get. He won't make it, but he should be in the All-Star conversation. I think he's been that good. I think he's been that impactful. Like, Jalen Williams, awesome. He's so good.
Can you give the Thunder 3 All-Stars?
Who would be the third? Chet?
Well, can you give Chet? Do you give Chet the All-Star now?
No. Would you put him or Lauri Markkanen in?
I'd have Chet.
Probably Chet.
I know what you would. No,
I'd
Lauri,
have probably Chet.
Lauri. No. Lauri's been.
He's on a better team. He I don't know.
He blocks everything.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. Lauri made the Jazz good.
I thought it was Colin Sexton that made the Jazz good.
No, that's what Jay said. All right, next award, best offensive player. I mean, it's Tyrese, right? I thought this one was pretty easy.
I put Luka.
Yeah, I mean, Luka's been great.
Luka's been unbelievable.
Yeah. I just watched a video from Gilbert.
I'm going with
show.
Jokic still. I'm still going with the
best so you're going the
passer in the game who never misses from anywhere on the court.
Best passer in the
makes
game.
Every single floater he ever takes. Who sees stuff that nobody else sees. Who literally passed the ball like that over the top of his head, and it was a perfect pass. Yeah.
The funniest thing was whatever that game was that Tyrese had. Maybe it was like 20 and 0 turnover, something like that. But whatever it was like Tyrese Halliburton just did something that only 6 other players have done in NBA history. And then it was like,
how many of them were Jokic?
Jokic was like twice in a week last. Like it was like
he's absurd. He's absurd.
I'm going Tyrese. I think Tyrese has been the best offensive player.
All
Clutch,
good answers.
Passing,
can we give each other credit for just
leading the best offensive rating in NBA history? I'm going Tyrese. Coach of the year. Josh. Open door
Mr.
policy.
Open door policy.
I knew it was coming.
Mark Daignault, Mr. Open door policy.
Yeah.
Is there? Yeah. Do you? Where are we? all
he's
on the
mine.
Same page
He's
here?
mine. Oh, yeah. I mean, look. I think there are other. I think Carlisle's done a great job. I think Will Hardy's done a great job. Like that team being over 500 halfway through the season is.
You didn't
incredible.
say Spo.
I haven't finished talking yet.
Okay. All right.
Spo,
I thought that just would be the first person you would say.
Well, I mean, Spo should win it. He's the best coach.
Spo will never win Coach of the Year. He is destined not to ever win Coach of the Year.
Spo is a top 3 coach ever for me. So, like, Spo should be there. Yeah. I think Ty Lue's done a great job.
Yeah, Ty Lue has done a masterful job, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, Mike Malone's been great. Joe Mazzulla's been pretty good. Like, there are a lot of people, but Daignault is like, he's got to be the guy, right? They're not the only team that's great offensively and defensively, but he's been just phenomenal.
And the same way we talk about players taking the leap from, oh, they're good, to that's an MVP candidate. This team has taken the leap from they're pretty good, they maybe might make the playoffs, to, oh, wow, this team is a looming contender and maybe a contender right now.
It's interesting. So Dave dropped Chris Finch, who also should be in the mix.
But Chris Finch, I have trouble rewarding Chris Finch because all he did was correct his mistakes from last year. Like, right? Like, all he did was figure out how to make this group play together when he couldn't do it last year. So,
no. You can't.
Chris Finch done a phenomenal job. But
he also, half of his season last year was D'Angelo Russell was on the team. It's not like they had Mike Conley all year. Like, D'Lo was on the team. That's tough to deal with. Gobert was hurt, right? Like, he's playing hurt. Like, he's clearly moving differently this year.
I just can't get over it. I know he's done an amazing job. Chris Finch has been awesome.
Yeah,
but in my head,
that
just keeps coming up.
Part of that is Ant just growing into who he could be.
Yeah,
just
but
getting older.
Aren't you also like, you're also trying to manage, like, all right, well, Rudy still thinks he should have the ball at times. What are we doing with Cat? Cat is no longer the franchise guy. We have been transitioned. Like, that's coaching, right? Like, managing expectations, getting guys to buy into roles. Like, and that's coaching.
And from a night-to-night basis, I'm not sure there's any team that plays harder with more discipline on the defensive end than they do. Like, they are so good, so tough defensively. It's so fun to watch.
Yeah. But no, it's still Daignault. Like, it's interesting though that they I think they have identical records, at least as of this recording, but we feel very differently about them, right? Like, you just said, like, oh, the Thunder, what could they be? Like, we went from, oh, they're pretty good, to like, what could it be? We don't really do that with the Wolves.
Chris Finch has done a phenomenal job. Like, Chris Finch deserves to be on the short list.
Yeah,
but to me, it's Daignault. And
no, he's the pick for me too. I'm just saying it's interesting the way we view the two situations of the Thunder and the Wolves.
Yeah, but and Daignault, to me, and maybe it's just the players that they have, but those guys are so young, but so smart, and that's coaching to me. Like, he turned young players into mature players so quickly.
Yeah,
and that's tough.
Rookie of the year,
Chet.
Josh,
second year and rookie of the year.
Chet.
It's Wemby.
I'm not entertaining this anymore.
It's Wemby.
Why?
Because he's been the best rookie.
Why? On a terrible team.
That
you have to take that into account.
Team success rarely should matter in rookie of the year.
But I feel like this is a special exception where you got a rookie on arguably the best team in the entire league, and you've got a rookie on not arguably the worst team in the NBA, but one of the worst teams.
Arguably the third worst team, because I think Charlotte's way
third
worse.
worst team.
Yeah, maybe
you have to take that into account. I don't know how you ignore that.
Here's what I don't ignore. Here's what I don't ignore is you look at Chet playing with 3 unbelievable playmakers, filling in incredibly, right? Now look at Wemby playing with Jeremy Sohan. why, like, for Wemby to do what he's doing, and what Chet's doing is really hard too. I think his job is easier, but it's still really hard. Like, they're asking him to be a starting level, all-star level big man on a really small team that is playing phenomenally on both ends of the floor. I'm not pretending that Chet, like, anyone can do what Chet's doing. But with Wemby, he is asked to make up for all of this bad at all times. And he's not doing, like, they're not winning, but you can tell that this is someone who is having to fight way more for everything he's getting, and what he's getting is super impressive. I think people have not really been paying attention to Wemby lately because the team was so bad. It's like, we'll move on. There's better stuff to watch.
Yeah.
But Wemby's been phenomenal.
The argument here is production versus efficiency. And then the second layer of the argument is how much of the efficiency is due to the situation. How much of Chet's efficiency is due to being with Shea? How much of his efficiency is due to being on a great team versus just him being more ready to make good decisions?
Well, he's second-year player.
As a second-year player, yes. and that to me is like Wembanyama, he's shooting a ton of threes and hitting like 29%.
Yeah,
that to me,
are we going to base Rookie of the Year on 3-point percentage?
To me, yes, efficiency should absolutely matter because efficiency is what helps teams win games. And Chet has walked into the NBA as super efficient, hyper efficient, doing everything that helps his team win. And I get if Wembanyama was in his situation, his efficiency would be way up. It would be a lot easier for him.
Can you imagine if he had three guys capable of passing to him?
Yeah, and that's the argument is like how much of Chet's is due to that situation versus and how much of Wembanyama's inefficiency is due to his situation. Like I don't think there's a real answer, and I think you could argue it either way.
Yeah. So here's how I would put it then. If Wemby ends up winning Rookie of the Year, like everything kind of stays the same, right? And Wemby ends up winning Rookie of the Year, would you be like, that's ridiculous?
No.
Because I feel the same. Like if Chet ends up winning Rookie of the Year, which I think he probably will, if Chet ends up winning Rookie of the Year, I'm not gonna be like, oh, come on, that's bullshit. Like I think either one is fine. I think if you get mad about it, you're just being biased, you know. But I look at it as like Chet has, let's just say, like I look at Chet carrying a boulder up a hill with Shea and with Jalen Williams, and he looks over and there's Wemby pushing the boulder up by himself as Jeremy Sohan's like pulling his jersey. You know, like that's like what it looks like to me.
We've got 3 like legitimate options for Rookie of the Year. Like if these 3 guys,
this is Hawkins.
I have to. Come on, how do you ignore it? How do you ignore my guy? How do you ignore my guy?
I mean, is he gonna make All-Star?
He cannot confirm or deny he will be in the dunk contest.
Yeah, I saw the clips of him in high school. Not interested.
The dunk contest doesn't mean anything anymore.
Because
at least he actually plays in the NBA.
That's true. At least we got an NBA player.
The last good dunk contest was Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine.
No, I don't want. Dave asked co-rookie of the year. I don't want co-rookie of the year. No, like
that
I know
would make people more mad than just picking.
It doesn't come out that way. Like it only comes out that way if the voting points and that would be, you know,
that just piss people
the
off.
chance of that happening is crazy. But no, it's either Chet or it's Wemby. I'm fine either way, but I'm going to make it the case for Wemby because I'm on a podcast with you two.
Contrarian.
No, just because I'm on a podcast with you two. MVP. Jay, who's your MVP?
This one was really hard. There's a lot of great candidates.
There's a lot of them.
So Embiid, if Embiid had played more games, he would be my choice. He's right now not on track to even qualify for the MVP. So
yeah, he's missed 10 games.
I docked him for that because compared to the other guys who have played almost every game, that's a huge gap in actual value to his team.
Yeah.
And so I went with Shea. I don't think you can go wrong with Jokic. I think Giannis deserves a lot of consideration for what he's done with what has been a really flawed team, adjusting to a new coach and a new system. but to me, it's Shea. Shea's great. Been outrageous offensively. His defense is just really good too. That's kind of been underrated. And to me, like so far, it's Shea.
Yeah, I like you said, I docked Embiid for the amount of games he's missed because it does affect the value to the team. I went Shea too. There's other options like
racking up
that's what
our
they're getting every award we're giving
the
out,
buddies.
So
The buddies. Can we call these the buddies?
Sure.
Thanks. They're racking up buddies.
Basket buddies?
Yeah, they're racking up the buddies.
I feel God tonight in this Applebee's.
It's from The Office. Jay doesn't watch TV.
I've watched The Office, but I don't remember that.
That's like the
Dundies.
Second episode of first episode of the second season. It's hard to go against Shea. Like Embiid is in the mix, but he is on pace to miss too many games. Now that rule is in place. Josh, what do you feel about that rule, real quick? You got to play 65 games to be eligible.
It makes sense. 65 might be a little high, but it makes sense. I mean, It makes sense, right? Like you have to go over sample size. You know what I mean? And obviously Embiid is scoring at a ridiculous rate with a smaller sample size.
Right.
And let's be honest, against worse teams. The knock again, he finds a way to sit out when they're playing the best team.
Smart, man. That's smart.
And it makes sense. There has to be some sort of cutoff.
I think Halliburton was in the mix before he got hurt. I think Tatum should be in the mix. Like obviously Jokic should be in the mix. I think Kawhi should be in the mix. All these guys, but
I forgot to mention Kawhi. Kawhi should be up there too.
Yeah. Shea is like he's been the story of the season so far, pretty much, right? It's kind of hard to go against him on that.
Yeah. Both ends of the floor too.
Team most likely to win it all. Josh.
Nuggets. I still think, like we talked about earlier, they're sleepwalking right now and just still winning. And when playoffs come around, when we hit April, May, June, like they just are going to become a completely different team when it's time to kick it into high gear and actually play.
Yeah.
To win.
As long as they're healthy.
As long as they're healthy. For sure. Jamal Murray stays healthy. You know what I mean? Obviously that makes or breaks it. But as it stands with a healthy team, I got to go with them.
Jay?
I'm going with the Celtics. I just think they have the most answers. I don't think anyone can match their top six. They have.
You thought
they play both ends. They're elite at both ends of the court, which is rare.
They were last year,
but they're better now. They're much better now. They have Kristaps, who solves a lot of their issues. They have Drew Holiday, who not only takes the toughest assignment every night, but also doesn't care if he doesn't get touches. Doesn't care.
Historically, shuts down Jimmy Butler in a playoff series. Yeah.
Well, he had no help. He'll have help now. They'll be switching and stuff.
He's gonna need it.
Yeah, but to me, they just have the most, and obviously Denver, like playoff pedigree, the level they touched, can't count them out. But to me, it's Boston right now.
I'm going Denver as well. I just think if they're healthy and not sleepwalking, I just think there are no answers for that. All right. The teams most likely to make the finals. Jay, you got Celtics
and Nuggets. Yeah.
Josh?
Celtics and Nuggets.
Same. Celtics, Nuggets.
He's going Heat. Oh,
look at that. Last year, baby.
We even needed,
Nuggets
Heat.
I love a rematch.
Goddamn
little shit-eating grin.
Zach has a different Heat grin. It is only reserved for the Miami Heat for when he.
You do know this is why he had us do this in the reverse order. I just put that 100%. Together. That's exactly 100%.
Why that took it that long to figure out.
He wanted to end on this
with Heat propaganda, baby. Heat culture,
top-notch podcasting.
The toughest, lowest alimony paying, hardest working. Yes. Make sure you subscribe to the Athletic NBA Show podcast on YouTube, where all podcasts are available. Any platform you listen to, make sure you're giving us nice reviews and ratings. Don't be mean, just be cool. It's just basketball. Don't be a Bulls fan booing Thelma Krause. Just have fun with it. Make sure you subscribe to The Bounce. Make sure you subscribe to The Athletic, the best coverage of sports on the internet, bar none. For Josh Eustace, for Jay King, for Dave DeFore, for Andrew Schlecht, I'm Zach Harper. Keep it locked on the Athletic NBA Show podcast.